Howdy, this is Jenny Lee Braun with Offbeat Premedia, and today we're going to be covering how to get type from InDesign to PowerPoint, and then how to set some type in PowerPoint in ways that you may not be thinking about. Let's get started. We know that in today's presentation world, a lot of us who are designers are being asked to make PowerPoints, and you guys are having to learn this on the fly, so I want to give you some of my findings. So the first example today is a script. So no, we do not present something like this on screen. We would have one big image and then someone would be reading the script behind the scenes. However, we usually leave a copy of the presentation for the presentee, whether it be a client or a potential client, and you really need to have the script in there. So what we found, the best way to do this is to set it as a hidden slide in PowerPoint, and then you can always go back and print them and insert them into your leave behind. So we would have several keyframes here, or maybe one large keyframe in the script on the side. We're going to learn how to set that today. In trying to set this, we ran into some snags pasting from InDesign. So I'm going to take a copy of a script, and I'm going to come back over to PowerPoint, and I'm going to try to paste it and no go. So the deal is here is that there is encoding in InDesign or any other application, right? So that encoding is what makes the formatting and the bolds and the italics and the space after and all that kind of jazz. So when you try to paste into, think about it, you have to have the formatting, you have to have the glyphs like the space, the bold. They want to do that. The applications try to make that happen between applications. And in this case, PowerPoint just can't understand the encoding that InDesign is using. Notice I said in this case, we'll come back to that. But you can always strip away that formatting. You guys know you can do it in PowerPoint with edit, paste without formatting. That exists in, InDesign. That exists in PowerPoint too. Really awesome. Most people don't know this. It's called Paste Special. The reason it's called Paste Special, not because PowerPoint's bad, but because it actually does a lot more. We'll look at this another day in Excel. You can do some really exciting stuff in Excel with Paste Special, but it will give you an option of everything you can do. And in this case, we can do formatted text, which still does nothing, or we can do unformatted text. And boom, there's our entire script. So really at this point, problem solved. I gave you a tip, I get to walk away. I don't work like that. I want to give you more information. So I'm going to take all this back out and I want to show you something else. I'm going to go get some lorem ipsum text. I'm going to come to this Safari site, that site loaded into Safari called Bacon Ipson, and I'm going to copy it and I'm going to paste it, and there it is. Now I'm going to go to this same site on Google Chrome and copy that and no go. Again, if we use the Paste Special, unformatted text, and it has to do with the way that that application is bringing that formatted text to the clipboard, because you know it's the same stuff. You know it's using the same encoding because it's the same site. So you can sit here and troubleshoot all that, or you can just use Paste Special. I do want to say in InDesign though, this kind of bugged me, and so when I went to make my own example, because I didn't want to show you guys the proprietary clip we would make, I copied mine and it worked perfectly. And I had used paragraph styles because that's how I roll, right? So, but when I came down here and I kept taking away formatting, I kept stripping it away, and I forgot to look at the character palette, because I forget that some people just don't understand character versus paragraph level formatting, and sure enough, they had formatted this entire thing as character styles. So if I take all of this and just apply none, it works, well, almost perfectly. It does this superscript thing. So I can just take off the superscript and it's closer without having to do paste without formatting. Yeah, I would just do paste without formatting when it happens, but I want you to know you may, if you are doing this a lot and your users just, everyone should know paste special. It's just critical to me in PowerPoint, Excel, and Word. But if you're running into issues and you're doing the same thing over and over, you can troubleshoot your type in InDesign to see if you can get it a little bit better formed so it goes easily into PowerPoint. So, case in point, we are now going to try and format our type. So I'm actually going to copy this picture just so that we have a pretty picture on our page. Right? Okay. And now I'm going to come back to InDesign and I am going to grab my copy, come back to PowerPoint, and there you go. Notice that I didn't have to use Paste Special and it even remembered my italics. There's something about using the paragraph styles versus the character styles. Haven't figured it out yet. I can't wait to put an update on this blog post someday when I figure it out. So, first thing that we need to do is notice how small it pasted in. I do want to give you a bit of advice before you start doing these things. On a page like this, I'd say any text box, make sure you take off the do not autofit. So what I did is you can right click and go to format text, or you can hit Apple T and it brings you up the text box options. We're going to go through all this a lot more later, but for right now I would just make sure, go down to text box, make sure you have no internal margin. PowerPoint puts one on by default. I've already taken it off, and take off do not autofit. So if you have autofit turned off and your copy comes in this small, please remember to check your superscripts. It does that for some reason. So there you go, right? Okay, so we don't have superscripts now. We know it's right. Let's change our font. I want Avenir. So the minute you do this, if by selecting everything, I'm going to get rid of my italics because of the way Avenir works. So I'm going to, let's just say Avenir for right now. And by just selecting Avenir, actually it does leave the italics. I'm sorry. Okay, so now that I'm in Avenir, let's get rid of our bullets. Now here's where the trick comes in. When you're formatting in PowerPoint, all in one text box, by default, PowerPoint lets you do one style of formatting per box, and it does not have paragraph styles. So you're basically done unless you do everything manually. So, okay, let's do it manually, right? So think about what you've got most on this page. Let's go back to InDesign. I've got 3 descriptors, action descriptors, and the rest of it is inset type as dialogue. So let's set the dialogue first. Let's go with our worst case scenario. Okay. So I'm going to select here and I'm going to go and I'm going to format my text. So first thing is, in looking at what was in InDesign, that type is probably okay, but I want to go a little bit bigger. Let's go up to like 11. And then I want to do an indentation. So we are going to say I want 0.5 before text, and I want a hanging of 0.5. That looks pretty good and it all lines up. You may want to make it 0.6 if you know that then you're trying to be consistent and you know your next page has longer names, that kind of thing. That actually looks pretty good. So I want space after because I don't have extra paragraphs in my version. So let's do, if we're at 12 point, let's do 6 pt and see where that gets us. I kind of like that. That's nice, visible. Maybe let's go, I'm going to go 8. That way it's a third of the type size. Again, a nice, okay. Now, so our basic copy is now set. So all we have to do is edit this. Okay, so what we need to do is get rid of our indents. I want to make it a lighter text. So I'm going to come up and pick Avenir, let's say light oblique. So we're going to click on light, then re-italicize it. Let's make it a lighter gray. Right, maybe that's going to be too light for on screen. And then we need to get rid of our indents. There's 2 ways you can do this. There's the easy way, and then there's going back to that text box options. The easy way does not always work all the time, and I think it has to do with the resolution of your monitor. So I can always do this at work, but I can't do it at home on my laptop. It's the same computer, I just have a bigger monitor here. So I'm going to show you both ways. The easiest way is if you drag up here. Notice that you have an indent here. So just select that type, then drag your indent in. I can't do it today. Good. Yesterday I could. So I can't get it 100% lined up. If you can't get it 100% lined up, then you're going to have to hit Command T and clear out your indents. So again, Command T for the format text box, hit paragraph, get rid of your hanging, and then go to 0 here. There you go. That's it. And notice now they're lined up. Sometimes you can drag them. The point is get them aligned. If you can't get them aligned, go to your format text box, Command T. So now here's where this gets easier than most people think. Select that type and grab your format painter. And then go highlight what you need. This is opposite of InDesign. In InDesign, you highlight what you want, then get your eyedropper tool and grab the target. In Microsoft Office, you grab the target, you grab the what you want to copy first, then click on your format painter and format the rest. And notice in this case, you can kind of keep going, because once you've highlighted something, it stays highlighted. You can then format the future stuff. And notice that even clears the indents. So now I've got this entire script set in less than a couple minutes, honestly. Thanks for joining us, and I will see you next time on Offbeat Premedia.